What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metaphysical Bates channel. Today I'm going to record this video. I'm going to let myself talk. And if your attention span is not yet fried by the TikTok or short reels algorithm, and you will stay until the end of this video. You will listen and you will try to take as much as possible. You're not obligated to, obviously, but this is my channel and I'm going to take the time that I need to say what I feel within myself, my being compelled to share today. So once again, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for existing. Thank you for being part of my creation right now. I want to talk about creation because in one video that I made, I said that we are the God of our realities. And I think oftentimes we take it as this, arrogant, statement that some people just utter because, they really do believe they are gods or something like that, right? Because I've had comments from either family members or people, which of course I do create as well, when they come to me, because I've made them part of my reality, and tell me, men, women, we think we're gods or we are God. But what they're failing to understand is that we are divine beings who came here to have a human experience. And when you understand that you're divine beings, you automatically understand that you create. You create your realities. You create everything that you're experiencing. Even the moment that you decided to come here into this realm, you created the experiences that you were to have. But what they failed to tell you, and which I believe that they should teach in schools, is that you can also recreate those realities. You can create new ones because there is no past, there's no future, there's only the now moment. And every now moment is a creation with the words that we utter, with the things that we decide to feel, or the feelings that we decide to feel, with the thoughts, and so on. We are divine beings coming here to play the game of being humans. There's a book that opened my eyes a lot about maybe 6 years ago, and it's this book by Florence Scovel-Shinn, and it's called The Game of Life. I listened to it in French and I listened to it in English. It's quite interesting. And I understood right then and there that life was not a battle, like the ones around us that control this, or that want to control our realities are trying to tell us that life is a battle. It is not at all. It's quite easy, actually, but easy once you understand that you are a divine being. And of course, we are divine beings, but having different experiences once we decide at which level that we want to vibrate as far as frequencies are concerned. So there's a chart about the human energy levels, and it goes from 100 to maybe 500, 600 or 700, if I'm not mistaken. I'll try to put a picture of it, depending if I decide to release this video without editing or not. So if not, you can always Google it. It's just, human level of energies. So you have the victim level of energy up until the enlightenment level of energy. So we are these divine beings that decide to vibrate at each of these, levels of frequencies. But of course, it's a choice that we make. You can decide to be a victim and stay at that level of energy. You can decide to, to be, to live with courage, which is right there as well on the chart. You can decide to live with pride, and all that is the ego, which is at the lower base of the line, and everything else, we start to connect with our true being, which is limitless, So life is not a battle. It is constant creation. And even the hard moments was not a battle. You just simply created them because you decided to. I started to think about myself, how I got here, you know, from the moment of conception till to this moment here, right? Just remember, I said everything is in the now. So I'm thinking, you know, okay, I'm in the moment, conception, I'm born as a baby, and so on, right? Now, the ego, which is also an aspect of the 3D, is so smart, so brilliant, so intelligent that it creates a reality, which again comes from us. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that as it is a separate entity. You can decide to see it like that, but it is you creating that. Thinks that, you know, I need to create certain realities in order to protect myself or to experience certain things. That's how smart, you know, we are, the mind, the ego. Sort of this illusory self that, you know, it creates just so that it can per se protect it, because we are humans. It's like, you know, we need that protection. It's like we're here, we're fragile, you know, we need that. So then that's how you get cultures, you know, created. You get belief systems created. You get cults created because, you know, and it becomes a collective consciousness, right? So we create these things in order to protect ourselves, or because also we're so smart that we will create realities in order for us to evolve, thinking that we need to go through the hardships, you know, of life to experience evolution, when in fact we don't. But this is what we're finding out now, actually, in this new age of Aquarius. And I talk about this in my videos, the age of pouring, you know, like it's like this sort of like cosmic light, knowledge is pouring down on everyone. And when you learn to be still and be with yourself, your being, you start getting insights. And I've talked about that. So bear with me because I'm like going back and forth because I have so many things that's coming through my mind. So when I think about me as a baby up until now, I said, oh my God, I created so many realities because my soul, my being, wanted to evolve. But because, of course, we are all part of the collective consciousness, you know, we create realities based on that as well. So I thought, okay, I need to create abandonment. I need to create rejection. I need to create being neglected or whatnot, you know, emotionally neglected, in order for me to evolve into the soul which I'm meant to be, or I always was, just like we forgot, right? So in other words, when I've talked about this in one of my videos about, you know, there's a passage in the Bible that says that God's promise is to prosper us, is to always prosper us, but never to harm us. It makes a lot of sense. So all the realities that we create that you think are here to harm you, if you really pause and you know yourself, this is where this phrase, that's when this phrase, know thyself, is really important and crucial. And that's, in reality, that's all you really need, is to know thyself. And then once you understand that you create all these realities to help yourself evolve, then you will see that nothing came to really harm you. It only came to prosper you. Let's just take an example here so that you can understand what I mean. You have a bill. The truth of the matter is we are all abundant beings. Except that those who understood that they were abundant, they created systems to control those who don't know, so that they can control them. That's why they want to keep you at a lower energy level so that you can always be in need, forgetting completely that you are abundant and that you are the creator and the God of your reality. So you have a bill. So here you think this bill came to suffocate you. In fact, this bill, which at first served you, and this is why now it's coming as a bill, because you have to pay it back, right? Because let's say you use your credit card to go shopping, it served you, right? And now the bill comes, you have to pay it back. You have to render that service back in a way. So receive, giving and receiving thing. So here you think that this bill came to harm you, but in fact, it's here to actually teach you something crucial. There could be many lessons, right, in this. It could come as a way for you to value money. Value money in the sense to understand that money is here to serve you. It is your servant. It could come in a way to teach you how to manage money better, okay? Or to not let money be your master, or to not let the outside things dictate who you are, etc., etc., etc. You can decide what this thing came to teach you. Now, for those who are the levels of energy that are like at the bottom of that chart, which I talked about, if you want to think that this bill is, came to victimize you, to kill you, then it will continue to do just that. Because you don't know, or nobody told you that you were abundant. And once you're abundant, it's what starts reflecting into your reality. Up until this moment, I refused to believe that I had created all my realities. I sat with myself and I said, wait a minute here. From the time of my conception, I have created. This is how smart, even a baby, this is how smart the mind of the ego is, because the baby is being pushed out here in the 3D reality. All of us, right? We're living here. I mean, there's the lower dimensions as well, which is like, I don't want to talk about right now because I would need to make another video about that, right? We are at this 3D level, and then of course there's the 4D, there's the 5D, etc. So it is so smart that, it creates, all these things in order to either, enlarge the ego, or, create suffering in order to evolve or whatnot, right? That's how smart, we all are. But we're just, in the midst of that, we're also forgetting the divinity which is within, which encompasses everything. And once you know thyself, that peace will come that Jesus talks about. Peace that encompasses all understanding. Because you realize that you don't really need anything, because at any moment you can create anything. I woke up and I started assuming that I create the reality in which I am accepted wherever I go. I am heard wherever I speak, or whenever I speak. I'm respected. I'm valued wherever I am. So if you go like that, assuming that, I guess this is what the law of assumption is all about. You're assuming that reality, and you accept that reality, then you don't need anything. I'm going to say something here, right? Because in my channel, I talk about rituals, spiritual rituals, the spiritual secrets of certain things in nature, whatever, right? Which again, like I say, culture is created in order to live in this reality, to play the game of reality, or sometimes to help them ascend to higher consciousness. So the people who judge are people who actually misunderstand that. You have a culture like the Haitian culture, and I talk about it because this is the culture that I know the most about. I live here, of course, in America. I assimilated into the American culture, but I'm not really 100% part of the American culture. And first of all, what is an American culture? This is such a melting pot here that you can decide today that you are Italian, you can decide tomorrow that you're Indian, in the sense of like, You just choose that reality for a day if you want. You know, you eat everything Italian without even knowing. We're being all these different cultures without even realizing it. So there is no such thing as an American culture, but I know the Haitian culture very well because I grew up in it. I'm part of that collective consciousness, you know, although I say this, right? And I say this with a lot of precaution in the sense that, you know, because we are divinity, we are all that is. So I don't really belong to the Haitian culture, but I'm part of it. And I decided that I am above it, not because I'm better, but because I'm all that is, right? We are all that is. You are all that is. So you decide that, right? But I understand it well, and I spent time over there. I worked there. I did business there. I interacted with all kinds of people at all levels. So I got to see firsthand and experience that collective consciousness, and I started, you know, using certain things that they do, and I understood right then and there that it was a survival mechanism in a way. And a lot of the rituals in cultures are done to help with the evolution of the soul, or to help sort of like deal with the 3D. You can decide whatever you want to do with that, right? For instance, they do bathing rituals, you know, every end of the year, going to the beginning of the year, because they feel like, okay, we want to remove whatever negative energy and so on and so on. You don't have to believe in that if you choose not to. Nobody's asking you to. But cultures, you know, and people, right, they do these things to help them, you know, as a community, as a people, as a group, as a culture, as a nation, to help them elevate. Now, other people looking from the outside, you know, are judging without truly understanding, who's never even spent a day, you know, speaking with a Haitian person, or ever set foot in Haiti, or anything, that know nothing about the history, the culture, the people, nothing, right? And they're just judging. Oh, you know, find Jesus Christ or whatnot, whatever. Meanwhile, Jesus did a lot of rituals. Perhaps they omitted them from the Bible so that you don't think about those things, so that you don't know them, so that you could stay in that lower level of energy that we're talking about. Who knows? We don't know. But you decide that, you know, you have the power. It's in your hands. So they do these things to help them, right? This is a group of people that went through slavery. Maybe they created that collectively so that they can find ways, you know, to again ascend. Or maybe now they decided to create another reality for them in order to fight and ascend again. I don't know, right? But this is what we see here. All these realities, we are all God creating, you know, every moment, every now. So they do these rituals to remove negativity. What could be wrong with that? Because we're all looking to ascend. We're all trying to remember our divinity. So these rituals that they do, whether they use salt, whether they use basil, whether they use coffee, like I mentioned in one of my videos, to wash their heads, or these things help them. Put them in a state of stillness. Put them in a state of connecting with their spirit team. Here's another thing as well. A spirit team, they're like, oh, you know, this like all like, because science cannot yet define these things. So they call them, you know, like woo-woo or whatever, right? Just like, you know, chemistry, before science could define chemistry, it was called alchemy, right? And then so it's like, you know, it's the transforming of things and so on. So the part that science could understand, they were like, it's chemistry, it's science, or anything else is like magic, you know, woo-woo, like fluffy, like whatever they call it. So let's leave it to the side, right? So they don't understand these things that the people are doing, you know, and talking about spirit teams or ancestors and so on. So the collective create those things to help them, you know, again, like as a people, as a nation, as a community, and so on. And the forces of the universe that exist. So science would acknowledge that about gravity, for instance. If you stand on top of a building, you drop yourself, you will fall. Doesn't matter if you're a baby born yesterday, that will happen, because that's this energetic pool that exists. You can't see it, but it's there. It's just, you go down. So it's the same thing in the collective consciousness of people, that there's a spirit team or like a army of angels that protect them, that guide them, that give them messages, and so on and so on. Yes, once you reach enlightenment or self-realization, you come to realize that you don't need them. But until then, in this 3D, you can decide to use them and to help you get to the next level. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I've realized myself. If this resonates with you, then give this a thumb up, share, like, and subscribe or whatnot. So before I forget, I'm going to read from this book by Eckart Tolle, A New Earth. I brought this book into my reality at 23 years old. I was going through a tough time. I think I was maybe 21 actually. I was going through a tough time. I really wanted to leave for college, and I didn't at the time. And I became very like down and depressed because all my friends left and I was still, at home, and that really affected me. And one day, and I was really, really depressed, as a 21-year-old girl. Instead of me looking for a boyfriend, I was just depressed instead. Actually, I had a boyfriend. We had broken up, and that also affected me negatively. And then I became very down and depressed and so on. So I brought this book into my reality, is what I realized, to help me. And I'm going to read a little passage in this, like a short paragraph. And you will understand every moment in your life you create at the time that you need it. The thing you have to do is pay attention. Turn off the TV, go into your room, shut the door, and be in meditation, be in prayer, so that you can understand what's happening around you, that you understand that the moment in which you are living right now, even this very moment, if you're watching this video, you created it. Your soul or your higher self brought it to you. Maybe I shared it with you, I don't know. But if you decide to watch it, like I said, till the end, your attention span is not fried by the TikTok shorts and reels and whatnot, you will stay until the end of this video and get the message. But I don't judge, right? Because my attention span was not the best either at some point, until I forced myself. Unlearn everything that I've learned so far is what I had to do. Everything. Anyways, so I'm going to read this, right? It's about the ego in the present moment. This book, I love it, and I go back to it. Like I said, I was 21 years old. It was a couple of years ago. So I realized that I brought it into my reality because my soul needed to go to the next dimension. And I ended up, going away for college. I ended up going to London for college. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And it was that book. And I left without even knowing anybody over there. I went just by myself on that journey. I ended up making friends that I have till today. And that's it. That's how the higher self, create your realities with you, and God co-creates with you, because of course, you need that guidance. So here we go. The decision to make the present moment into your friend is the end of the ego. That's what I mean about being still. The ego can never be in alignment with the present moment, which is to say, aligned with life, since its very nature compels it to ignore, resist, or devalue the now. We have a tendency to deny a present reality, not thinking that we created it. So the present moment is your greatest teacher. Time is what the ego lives on. The stronger the ego, the more time takes over your life. Almost Every thought you think is then concerned with past or future, and your sense of self depends on the past for your identity and on the future for its fulfillment. Fear, anxiety, expectation, regret, guilt, anger are the dysfunctions of the time-bound state of consciousness. That's what the ego does. The ego wants you to believe that everything is harming you so that you can never be still. You could never be present to realize who you are, to realize your divinity, to realize that you are the creator. The ego doesn't have power over you. You have power over the ego. You are the higher self. You are that Lord that is the shepherd that shall not want anything. I think this video has been long enough. I'll save my energy for another video. Until then, God bless you. Let's continue to prosper together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my reality and allowing me to be part of your reality. Until next time.